Hi, Flosstube friends. Thank you all so much for your response to the unboxings that Amanda and I did. It's been lovely, and I love it watching people go through the eBay store and purchase these patterns that I want to say inherited. We did pay for them, but there's so many that we definitely did not pay enough for them. And we're so grateful that we can pass it on to you. So update on that. I've listed about half of the huge box that we ended up with to pass on to you. And my children are working away. I have a couple teenagers who are trying to save money for the fair this week to be able to go and ride rides and things. So they are listing away at the patterns and getting them into the store. So it will probably take us another week to 2 weeks to get all of the patterns in there. So keep looking and purchasing, and you can just a little eBay tutorial. The way I have it set up, it should not make you pay all at once. It should let you put it in a cart. You can hit buy now, but then it shouldn't make you pay immediately. If it does and you pay bukus in shipping, let me know. If I don't automatically send you back your shipping, send me a message and say, hey, can you combine the shipping and refund the money? But most likely it will not make you pay all at once. Just keep it, I'll see that it's sold, and then I will send you an invoice. I usually invoice next day. Sometimes if I'm working or at a birth or something like that and I can't do that, it will be 2 days. I usually ship every other day. So if you want me to, if you're like, hey, I'm still looking, don't send me an invoice yet, just send me a message on eBay that says I'm shopping. And you can basically keep a cart going. But you do have to push buy to say that it is sold. Otherwise, other people. And if I send you an offer and you accept that offer and then you don't pay for it immediately, this is not me. This is eBay. This is new. They will keep that listing up until it's paid for. So you do have to pay for them in order for them to come completely down. I wish it wasn't that way, but I don't have any control over that. But I do have it set to where you don't have to pay immediately. You can hit, if you pay the buy it now price, it will take it down. It'll say sold on my end, and then just send me a message that says I'm ready for my invoice, and I will combine your shipping. It's been wonderful to watch, and I love watching what people pick. I just had a lady go through, and everything she picked, I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to keep that one, but I'm so glad it's going to somebody who has the same taste as me. And you saw what we kept. And you haven't even seen the stuff that I've gotten from Nashville over the last 4 years. I have way more stitching than lifespan. And so, especially because I'm such a slow stitcher. So that is where, that's where we are on that. If you haven't seen those videos, go back and watch them. What happened was Amanda May of Artist Design and I went to an estate sale where we grossly underestimated too, because after the estate sale was over, we had purchased between the two of us probably about 40 cross stitches, and then they had tons left over. And then after the sale was over, they contacted us and said, hey, do you want what is left over to put into your Save the Stitches on eBay? And we said yes, so we purchased those. And I am going to do another video with that coming up. So we will have much more. Keep checking back in the eBay store, because we're going to have fully finished cross stitches as well as the patterns. So I used to only do jewelry on eBay. Apparently now I do cross stitch. And which I love, because those, if you are a seller on eBay, you would not, I actually learned this the hard way. You don't list things unless you like them and want to research them and that sort of thing. But as far as the patterns are concerned, we're not researching them. There's too many to go through. We are putting them all up for $6, so that everybody can can benefit from it. And some people have messaged me and they're like, I've been looking for this pattern forever, and the can't beat the price and all of that. So that makes us happy. We're not in it to make money. The majority of the money is going to my children to list it and pack it. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, so speaking of like giveaways, we have 2 giveaways from my last 2 videos. The first one was Bless This Home, and it does have the threads, and it's opened, but it does have the threads. I don't know if you can see it. It does have the threads down in there and the fabric with it. And it's Bless This Home, O Lord. And it went to Loretta Henderson 8979. So email me. I'll put my email below, and I will get that sent out to you. From my last video, we had the needle painting of the sailboats and the beautiful birdies down at the bottom. And that is going to, let's see, Wide-Eyed Needles, or what is it? Wide-Eyed Stitching Child. She is getting this one. So message me down below and I will get that sent out to you. Do you see this? A fly. Our weather is changing, and my cat. Oh my goodness. Everything's going crazy here. So those are the giveaways from previous videos. With the patterns, I wanted to, keep a couple of them to do as giveaways for you guys to get for free. So the way we're going to do it is below, you're going to comment 1, 2, 3. Did I pull 4? Did I pull 3? I pulled 3. So you're going to comment 1, 2, or 3. And then I will put it into a generator based on which one you want. And we will send it to you. Seriously, we will send it to you. So the first one that I have is the Lizzie Kate snippet of a snowman and Christmas trees. Super cute. That's number, oh my goodness, it just landed on my nose. You start filming and everything, like, go away, fly. Yeah, so Lizzie Kate snowman, and super cute, super cute. So that'd be a cute, fast finish start. Let's see. And then we have, it is seriously still going around my head. Go away, little fly. Kitty cat, do your job. Get the fly. Okay, so this one is Linda Myers, and this is Country Winter. And this was one of my favorites that I am not keeping, but it's just so pretty. So it is a barn and a cardinal, and it's so, oh my goodness. I have never met a fly so aggressive. Go away. So Country Winter, that would be number 2. So number 1 is Lizzie Kate. Number 2 is the Country Winter. And the third one is Sue Hillis. And you're going to see I actually started and finished a Sue Hillis in the past couple weeks since we have spoken on, since I've been on YouTube. So this one is Sue Hillis Sweethearts, and it even has the charms above. So we've got the charms and the beautiful, it's so very, very lovely design. So, and I believe that this one I think is vintage. It would be my guess, or at least an older pattern, because it's not printed. It's actually like a picture that they've glued to the pattern. So, it's beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Comes with the charms. And that will be number 3. So just comment number 3 underneath. All right. So I want to show you my finishes. I'm so excited because, as I said in my first video, I'm mostly a monogamous stitcher. I try not to start too many, and have too many projects going. And, that's hard with cross stitch because you want to have something kitted and ready to go when something else is finishing up. But I still am trying. I only have one going right now, but I also have a knitting project that I'm working on. I didn't bring it down to show you this time because it really hasn't changed all that much from the last time. We have had a spectacular summer. I haven't been on call for babies all summer, and we've done a lot of a lot of family stuff, a lot of family time, and really just we have a community pool, and we love inviting friends over to the pool, and we just go up to the pool, and our pool has grills, and we grill out, and it's amazing. So that is, I live on vacation. It's fantastic. And so we have been super busy with kids things and back to school and all of those things. So my knitting hasn't moved much as far as getting it to the next step, but it is on my like mind to work on it more. And I think it's because our weather is changing and it's becoming sweater weather, or I can't do it, sweater weather. If you get the joke, leave me a smiley face underneath. But yeah, I also, all of my sweaters I know my daughter's gonna steal, so it's time for me to make one that I'm like, this is mine and you cannot touch it. So that's what's going on there. But I want to show you what I have been working on and what I finished. So this one was a start and a finish since the last time I saw you. This was Sue Hillis, and it is called, it is the names of the 7 menopausal dwarfs. And I had shown the pattern to one of my friends who was recovering from a surgery, and she's like, oh my gosh, you have to stitch that for me. I want to put it on the back of my jean jacket. And so I stitched it for her birthday, and of course didn't get it to her by her birthday. It's back. But I absolutely love it. It says itchy, bitchy, sleepy, sweaty, bloaty, forgetful, and psycho. And anyone who has gone through perimenopause or menopause, you feel that way. Like you don't, like all of those things apply. It was a fast stitch. And I would have to go find my notebook to figure out what I put it on. But it's beautiful fabric, absolutely beautiful fabric. I want to say, I'm horrible with this. Like Amanda can look at other people's work and tell you what they've stitched it on. I am horrible. I have it written down. I will let you know below what I stitched this on. But it turned out so cute and super fast, and I was really excited to finish that. So that is in my need to go mail out pile. But that also means that now I have an empty bag to start another one, which makes me excited to pick out the next thing. So the other finish that I have was another tiny finish. And I saw somewhere on like Instagram or something, somebody said small, fast cross stitching doesn't exist or something like that. And I was like, this is true with this tiny little Christmas tree. I started it weeks ago. I think I was working on it, was it in my first video like 2 or 3 months ago, and I just got it finished because I thought, well, I'm not going to do it on white, which is what it called for. I wanted to do it on the green. And then I did the border and I started in on the yellow, and I was trying to use like the metallic thread. And I understand now why in the community they call it the devil, because it was horrible. I couldn't get the coverage I wanted, and it was like snagging and things. And so I was like, oh, well then I went to go like kit up another project, and I went to the DMC aisle and I found this like beautiful, it's very pretty, like golden color, and it was really silky though, but it kept breaking as I was like using it, and it would slide through and slide off the needle, and I even lock my stitches when I do 2 strands. I will lock my thread to the top of my needle, and it was still breaking, and I was like so frustrated, but I had already like gotten halfway through it. And like even some of my stitches, like the X's aren't very like Xy. I don't know how to say that. They're not super clear, but the overall product turned out really cute, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And but it's also put me off from wanting to start another one. But I love the book. I have so many that I want to do, and I want to get a couple of them done for Christmas to give as gifts. So I do have motivation to get another one started, but I think I'm going to stick with DMC, or probably I might make an order of silks or something like that to make it I don't know, maybe I'll use variegated or something like that. But I also have plenty, if I'm picking my own, I have plenty of threads that I can pick from. And what you don't see is my mother's threads that are down on the floor that I've been going through and trying to decide what I'm keeping and what I am giving away. And someone commented on my last video about grief and holding on to things that our parents, when they pass and they've been crafters. We're going to do a whole video on that. It's going to take me a while to build up all of my thoughts on that and to discuss that. Grief is no stranger to me, and it's something that I hold dear because it's shaped who I am. And we're going to go into that at a later date. I promised you guys a happy birth story today, and so we're going to do that. And yeah, I don't have the brain power or mental capacity to go down the grief train today, but we will do that soon at a later date. Okay. And my big finish, which I absolutely love. And it was one that I was sad to finish almost because it was so pleasing to my brain to work on. And this is the bell pull from Stitchy Pros that Holly's she's a genius. Like, it's so beautiful. So this is, I think it was Fiber on a Whim's Latte is what I figured out I put it on. And it turned out so beautiful. The symmetry in this was so much fun to work on. Even in like the deer and all of the things, it turned out so beautiful. There are 2 places where I'm one off. If you watch my previous videos and the mugs, she tries real hard, but she's one off. So there's 2 spots where I'm one off, but you could not tell. So I kept on moving. And it turned out so beautiful. And it's so beautiful that I want help fully finishing it because I'm not great at that yet. Working on it. So Amanda, my kids went back to school. Amanda's kids are not back to school yet. There's a couple other people in my stitching group who want Amanda to do a finishing day. So we're going to have to organize all that. And trying to pin down a midwife is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. But we will figure it out eventually, and I will get this fully finished and up on my wall in the office. So those are my fully finishes. So I got to start some new stuff. Well, I started one new one. I want to work on my knitting a little bit more, but I'm going to carry the Christmas trees or the Christmas ornaments with me in my purse because it's small, and same with this one. This one is going to also be a gift, big surprise, because that's what I do. But that's my motivation as well. This is going to be Poutini. They're super sweet. I've met them at Market as well, and they are just very, I sat with them, I think it was last year, and we talked about opera because my daughter is into opera and wants to be an opera singer. And we were talking about opera, but it is very cute. So this is not the color pattern. This is my working pattern. But it says, I turn grass into wool. What's your superpower? And it's a little sheepy. And I think it's super cute and super small. And I got it started. I usually start in the bottom left. Amanda taught me to start in the middle, and then I decided I don't like that. It works much better for my brain to start in a corner. So that's as far. I got a little mound, and I've got the start of superpower. So that's what I've got so far, but that was kitted up. And I've also kitted Tiny Christmas, or what is it called? I can't, Tiny Town, one of the Tiny Towns, the Christmas one. But I'm scared to start it because I decided to do it Tiny Town. And so I don't want to start it and it be awful. So I'm hesitant, but I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I need to just do it. It may take me a couple years to finish it, but I think it's going to be really cool to have a tiny town. And I can always go back and do the big one if I want to. So that's where I am in my stitching. So that's my update for my stitching. So I promised you guys a happy birth story. So last time we did a unnecessary cesarean. This time I wanted to tell you about a woman who had had 2 previous cesareans. She really wanted to VBAC. A VBAC is a vaginal birth after cesarean. And the statistics that we have for 1 cesarean and then a vaginal birth and 2 cesareans and a vaginal birth are actually really good for the outcomes for mom and baby. There are safety things around it. You have to be a good candidate for it, but it is possible. And it's one of those things. Back when I was a doula, they used to call me the VBAC queen because I had such a high success rate of helping people have VBACs. But I didn't like it because I was like, it's not a guarantee. I can't guarantee that for people. You can't guarantee anything in birth. And but that's like what people would call me. They're like, if somebody wanted a VBAC, they would like, call Grace. She's the VBAC queen. And I'm like, I don't really like that title because it's a lot to live up to. But in this instance, this woman called me. She had been, I don't know if I want to use the word victim, but she had been victim to the system where she was going and seeing a different doctor every visit. And the majority of the doctors were saying, yeah, we'll let you TOLAC, which is a trial of labor, after cesarean. And she was told this up until her 36-week visit, when they were like, well, we'll only let you go to 40 weeks and you have to go into labor by yourself. And we're not, we're going to go ahead and schedule your your C-section, your repeat C-section for 40 weeks. And she was devastated because she had been like really planning on a natural delivery. So she switched to home birth. And at this point I was birth assisting and doulaing with she was a certified nurse midwife, home birth midwife. And she had contacted me, and this mom had contacted me and said, we're switching plans last minute. They want a home birth so that they don't have to be part of the system. So she called me. Like, I think she called me first. She had just signed on with the group that I was working with, and she said, I'm signed on for a home birth. My due date's next week. Would you be up for being my doula? And I said, well, I'm really, yeah, most likely that would work out fine. I said, we should probably meet if I'm going to be your doula. And I think that was like a Friday, and we set up an appointment to meet on Monday. And she called me Sunday morning. I think it was Sunday morning. It might have been that morning, Monday morning. I don't remember exactly. And it was early in the morning. It was like 5 a.m. And she said, I know we're supposed to meet today, but I think I'm in labor. Will you still come? And I said, sure. I mean, she had met with the midwife. They had done prenatal catch up. They had checked all of her records, checked her ultrasounds, made sure that everything was fine. So I was feeling comfortable with the situation of going to this birth. And then I show up, and they've got freshly shorn alpacas in their front yard. And I was like, okay, these are my people. It's going to be great. This is going to be fun. And I walk up to the front door, and the dad, who's been up with her all night, is at the door, and he puts his hand up and he goes, I'm tapping you in. And I was like, okay. So I went in, and this is where ADHD is like my superpower. And I was able to gather information about them very quickly. She was listening to religious music. There was pictures of their other children. There were the freshly shorn alpacas. There were birds. There were, other clues as to who these people were. But most of all, she was in the pool and she was working it. She was working hard. And I got there and I was like, I think we're almost there. Like, from everything I'm hearing and seeing, I'm like, it sounds like we're going to be pushing soon. And I didn't really say that to her, but I texted it to the midwife. I was like, I think you better get your butt over here. Um, and so she was on her way, and I let them know. I said, I think that we should have the midwife and her assistant on their way. And they both agreed. They were like, that would be fine if you think so. And she was laboring away beautifully, very calmly in her pool. She had a birth pool set up. And we had no time to discuss, do you want hands-on? Do you want more verbal encouragement? What do what do you want the doula to do? And so I kind of just said, do you want me to rub your back? Do you want, and she would say yes and whatever. And I remember her holding onto my pant leg. I think I was wearing like a pair of jeans, and she was holding onto my pant leg, and she was like, I'm so sorry, but this is really comforting me to hold your pants. And I was like, it's okay, go for it. And so she was pushing pretty much, I think, by the time the midwife got there, or was really close to it. Baby sounded beautiful. There was no obstruction of labor. There was no issues going on whatsoever. And I do believe we ended up on a birth stool, which is like it's a small, basically puts the mom in almost like a squatting position to give birth. It really helps gravity bring baby down. And her baby came down. She did have to push for a while. And it's very common with previous C-section moms, depending on where they were in labor when they had their C-sections, to push for a while. So we were pushing for a while. Baby came out. I believe it was on the birth stool. Everyone rejoiced. It was amazing. There wasn't much bleeding after. I do believe we gave her medication for the placenta to come, and we waited and we waited. There wasn't much bleeding, but we were waiting and we were waiting and we were waiting, and the placenta wasn't coming. And it wasn't coming, and it wasn't coming. And we tried all of the maneuvers that we know to safely get it out, but she wasn't bleeding. And time went on, and we were like, okay, we have to call it, because you're a C-section mom, because it's been a certain amount of time, we need to go to the hospital and have assistance getting this placenta out. And as she and I went back to her bedroom to get dressed. She was not bleeding. Like, she was very strong. She was very, she's a farm girl. Like, she was very she was able to move. And some moms after birth, like especially myself, I look like a train wreck, and I am not strong, and I'm like, put me in bed and give me my baby and be done. She was able to walk back into her bedroom with me, and she's like, this really stinks. Like, I really don't want to go to the hospital. And I could feel her anxiety raising. And she's like, but I'm so glad that that's over and the baby's here. She's like, but I was really hoping to be able to stay home after. And I went back in the room with her, and I just got this overwhelming feeling to tell her to pray. And I said, I think we should say a prayer. And we said a prayer, and by the time we ended that prayer, the placenta came out, no problem. And it was, really, Mr. Fly, go away. It was a really special birth, because we didn't know each other, and we became fast friends through that experience. And after everything was over and I came back, I think it was the next day or the day after. Usually the midwife will do a 1-day visit, a 24-hour visit, and we check baby over and do a congenital heart screen and all of those things. And and then when I was a doula, I would come day 3 in between the midwife coming back again. And she said to me I came back for the visit. She's like, we didn't even discuss money. What do we owe you? And I really was only there, I think, oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. It's one single fly in my house. So I need a fly swatter. Like I'm picturing my grandmother right now with her fly swatter, and wishing I had one handy. She always had one handy. But yeah, so I said, what about, you have freshly shorn alpacas out in your front yard. Do you have their wool still? And she was all like, yeah. And I said, can I have a bag of wool? And she was all like, yes. She's like, because we don't know what we're going to do with the wool yet. And I took that wool to a local mill and had them mix it with some sheep wool. And I ended up with beautiful roving, and was able to spin that. And I don't remember if I still have it or if I've knit it by now, because it was a long time ago. I think she's a preteen. She's got to be if she's not already a teenager. So, yeah, it was amazing. It was such a good birth, and the friendship that came out of that was really sweet. So yeah, it's one of those. It was a good birth and a redeeming birth for her and her husband, and their older daughters, because they got to come home to this fresh baby, and mom wasn't gone for 3 days, and it was amazing. So that is my happy birth story. And they called me, I think it was like 18 months to 2 years later, and we did it again. And I'll tell you that birth story, because that was a whole different birth. And we'll do that one maybe next time. If I get to the grief one, we'll probably cover like birth and grief in that as well. But for another happy time, I'll tell you about their second birth that I had with them. I hope all of you have a fantastic, it's probably going to be another month before you see me. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get the estate sale one up that shows you our adventure and shows you how many incredible cross stitches were at this estate sale. We ended up picking up 50, and he actually just called me and he found like 5 or 6 more. So we picked up 50 to pass on to you. Let me tell you that it's ones that we have already had a couple people buy some, but there's definitely some left over that we will be listing in the Save the Stitches. So once again, go back to eBay. Just keep checking back with eBay and we'll get those listed. But we're going to show you what all we brought home, and it will be the fly is now bothering my cat. The cat is sleeping and like not really going to go after this fly. So anyhow, I will see you soon, hopefully, and hopefully I will have a finish or at least progress to show you on my sweater. And I hope you have a fantastic back to school season and are able to have so much fun stitching. I will talk to you soon.